You know, there's an important life lesson that if you want something really, really bad, you can just wish for it and it becomes true. Or it doesn't, because I was wishing for a haircut for like 3 weeks and nor did I get one, nor did I get an appointment. So you know what? Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about Oneplus, because I wanted to work with them for ages and I didn't know how to approach this. As it turns out, you can just write an email to them. So that's what I did. And you know what? I wished for a reply and I've got one. In the form of a box, labeled OnePlus 9 Series Media Kit. So yeah, I've got this. I've got 2 phones in this box and some miscellaneous stuff that we are going to work on today. But first of all, let me give a warm welcome to everyone who stumbled upon my channel. In today's video, obviously, we are going to take a look at the OnePlus 9 and OnePlus 9 Pro devices. And one quick disclaimer, this is the first time I'm using OnePlus's phones. Not just the new ones, any OnePlus phones. So yeah, this is gonna be a half-ass video. Firstly, I couldn't stop myself commenting on the packaging and not just the media kit. The media kit is something else. Props on that OnePlus, really great job. But on the packaging of the phone itself, like the box is so huge, and not just compared to the new iPhone boxes, but any normal regular phones. Like compared to those, the OnePlus comes in like a shoebox basically. And I think it's for good reason. They have the phone inside that, they have a case, specifically a transparent silicone case for the 9, and a dried concrete colored matte case for the 9 Pro. They have the USB-C, USB-C red cable and also a 65-watt wired charger brick in the box. As I was thinking about this, I came up with the conclusion that OnePlus's packaging is like if Apple packaged a Xiaomi phone. And I think it's the most convoluted way to say what I wanted to say, but here we go. And so, here are the phones. The 9 with the winter mist color and the 9 Pro with the morning mist color. Yeah, they are both misty colors. They are like shiny as all hell. And I don't know why they sent these out. Like, both of these phones have matte finishes in any other color variations, but these colors are for some reason glossy, and they send the glossy phones for reviewers. Like, they love to see smudges on the back. Like, OnePlus, tell me something. You really like to see that? Like, is this something you like? Does that kindle joy? Look at that smudge. Obviously, I'm focused on this a bit too much, but since I prefer the matte finish on phones, it hurts for me in a particularly bad way. Like, when it comes to the bumper of the phone, they look identical. But the 9 Pro is made of polished aluminum and the 9 is plastic. Fortunately, they both have glass backs, so no Samsung glass stick stuff here. And they both support wireless charging. Actually, 15-watt wireless charging in the 9 and 50-watt in the 9 Pro. 50-watt wireless charging with the proprietary OnePlus wireless charger. I have to say this looks a bit wonky, but it actually works. So the charging speeds with this on the 9 Pro is phenomenal. Like, charging your phone from 0 to 100% in like 40 minutes, the 4500 mAh battery inside with wireless charging? Okay. You know, this is what I found really fascinating. When the OnePlus 6 came out, I think, everyone said that, yeah, it has a glass back and it doesn't have wireless charging, but who cares? Because we have dash charging, wired dash charging, and it's so fast, you don't need wireless charging. And now they just have wireless charging, and it's fast, and everyone says that, yeah, of course I will use wireless charging, this is the future. Like, Moving on, looking at the sides of the phone, and this is applicable for the 9 and the 9 Pro as well. On the bottom you'll find the SIM tray. In the middle there's the USB-C port that supports 65 watt charging and one of your speakers. The other speaker is embedded on the top bezel of the screen. And on the right you'll find the lock button and the 3-stage, like, ringer switch. You can set it to ring, vibrate or silent, and this is basically a more advanced version of Apple's side switch, and I really enjoyed using it. It has a really enjoyable click to it. If you look at the back, you'll find an island of cameras. It resembles another phone manufacturer's. Wait a second. So did OnePlus basically make a camera bump with the color of the back of the phone, and inside that camera bump raised individual cameras with lowering the logo of your company and getting rid of the name of the Wait a second, is this an iPhone? But obviously it isn't an iPhone. How do I know that? Because it has a 48 megapixel main sensor with optical image stabilization on the Pro. The regular 9 has electronic stabilization. Screw you, normal 9. Of course, both of the phones have the 48 megapixel main sensor and the 50 megapixel ultra wide, and they both have a really quite useless 2 megapixel, what is that? Depth sensor. But the Pro, as you can see, has a fourth camera. It's an 8 megapixel 3.3 times magnification telephoto lens with an optical image stabilization built in, just like on the main sensor. In terms of the videos and photos I've took with these phones, I would say that they look quite amazing, but they are almost always a bit overly saturated and the contrast ratios are a bit wonky in my opinion. Like shooting a photo with my iPhone and then with this OnePlus, for some reason the OnePlus has lower highs and higher lows, so it basically looks like there's no contrast on the image, and with this it even manages to lose some detail in these contrasty scenarios. Is this Hasselblad? Is this the work of the great Hasselblad and the $150 million deal? I'm baffled a bit. I don't know what to say. One of the most important things for me is that if I take a shot with my phone, I know what I'm going to take. With the OnePlus, you don't know, because you can't see the live HDR. The HDR gets applied to the photo after you took it. And this is, I think, one of the most infuriating things I've ever experienced. When you just try to align something up and, oh, I think this looks fantastic, and you take the shot, and after the fact, it just, I don't know, pulls it all together and pulls down the highlights and boosts the saturation, and I don't like this camera actually. It takes really great photos most of the time, but it feels like I'm not in control, and I don't like that. When it comes to performance, both of the phones have the Snapdragon 888 processor and these RAM and storage options. Yeah, the phone is fast. What else can I say? I mean, Snapdragon 888 is the fastest Android chip right now. You'll be able to do basically anything. One thing I didn't mention yet is the speakers, and I was quite surprised that they were really nice. They sound a bit more muffled than my iPhone speakers, but in terms of volume and stereo separation, there was no problem whatsoever. I quite like the speakers on these phones. I actually almost forgot to talk about the screens of these phones. The 9 has a 120 Hz 1080p OLED screen, which goes up to 1100 nits of peak brightness, I think, yeah. And the Pro has a variable refresh rate, 120 Hz, 1440p OLED screen with a peak brightness of 1300 nits. So it's more Pro. The one gripe I have with the Pro is that it has a curved edge, like the Samsung's. The screen just flows on the side. Don't know who likes that, why companies keep making that. I really hate that design, and this is why I mostly use the 9 in this review period. But both of these screens are really great, and they have the camera on the left top side, top left corner. In conclusion, I think both of these phones are quite great, but if I had to choose my favorite of the two, I would say that the Pro wins, even if I don't like the screen that much. And basically it comes down to the better screen, the better cameras, and the better build quality, because believe it or not, you can actually feel the sides that they are made of plastic on the 9, and it feels a bit more durable on the Pro. At the end of the day, I will have to say that both of these phones were quite great, and I really enjoyed using them. If I had to pick a favorite out of the two, I would have to say that the Pro was better, even though I don't like the screen edges. And I'll say this even while factoring in the pricing, because here in Europe, or actually here in Hungary, you'll get the 9 for around 900 US dollars. If you want the Pro, you have to pay 1150 US dollars. That's quite a big step up. Even with this, I will have to say that the 9 Pro is a better buy, at least from my perspective, because it has a nicer camera, it has a better screen, it has a better build quality, and overall the feature set is just that much better in my opinion. Actually, I have to say I quite enjoyed OnePlus's Oxygen OS. It might be because I use iOS mainly, and it quite heavily resembles iOS in some areas. However, this is not enough for me to switch to Android, because I love me some iPhones, thank you. I love my iPhone, I use it daily, obviously, this is my phone, who knew? And I actually plan on making a video about this, so stay tuned on that one. And saying that, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for watching it all the way to the end, and if you don't want to lose out of the... if you want to see my video on this iPhone, subscribe. If you don't, subscribe even harder. I don't know, sleep tight, drink some water, and yeah. Come on, go away!